This just into CBS Sports HQ. Possibly some concerning news if you are a Cowboys fan. Dak Prescott will take a little longer to resume throwing than initially expected. So Dak strained his shoulder last week in practice, immediately took himself out. Make sure to be careful. Now the Cowboys initially said he would be back resuming throwing in just 2 to 3 days. Well, today head coach Mike McCarthy saying, well, it's going to be a little bit longer. Also, Dak will not be playing in Thursday night's Hall of Fame game against the Steelers. Here's more from Mike McCarthy.
I think it's important to, just address where he is. I think it's something we've kind of taken a step back. We still feel the same about the type of injury, but we're just being more conservative with the timeline. He will not throw today. He will not play in the game Thursday night. Is the plan.
Can you say taking a step back to something else involved?
Everything's no. It's just we're after the research and looking at it, we just don't want this to turn into something big. So it's he's doing everything that he possibly can, but we're just being a little more conservative with his rehab.
Let's welcome in CBS Sports analyst Patrik Walker, covers Cowboys very closely for us there in Dallas. So Patrik, we hear setback, especially after what happened with last season with Dak and his leg. A lot of fans may want to panic. He was supposed to be out 2 to 3 days not throwing. Now it's going to be longer. But how much of this is the Cowboys just being very cautious with their quarterback?
It's exactly that, Amanda. And keep in mind, the key word, the key phrase here from McCarthy is that the team is taking a quote unquote step back. I know that a lot of people heard the word setback because of the situation and who the person is, but there has been no setback regarding Dak Prescott's strained shoulder, I'm told. And the good news for Cowboys fans out there who especially followed the reporting that I do for the Cowboys on CBS Sports. Last week I put out there that although Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys were hoping to have Dak Prescott back on the field in a couple of days as far as throwing is concerned, conversations I had with several sources pointed to a much different approach, which was that they were going to literally take it on a day-to-day basis, which was to say that if Dak Prescott woke up on Monday and he felt good enough to throw today, Tuesday, then he'd be throwing. If he wakes up tomorrow on Wednesday and he feels good enough to throw after the Hall of Fame game, then he'll get back to throwing. Then they're really going to take this on a day-to-day basis. Now, as far as the preseason approach for Dak Prescott, I'm told that prior to the injury, the Cowboys were hoping to get him preseason reps in the week 3 of the preseason against the Houston Texans on August 21st. Now, that's obviously a home game here at AT&T Stadium. It would be, from a marketing standpoint, great for Jerry Jones to have his QB1 reappear and return to the field on the home field. But until then, right now, it's just all about recovery for Dak Prescott, and that recovery involves a lot of rest. There's no surgery that's required. There's no extra medication that's required, if any at all. It's just a matter of him taking it easy. And ultimately, the injury happened because he threw a Hail Mary pass without warming up properly in that practice. So a little bit of a freak thing there, but it's a tweak. It's not a major grade or strain or anything like that. Dak Prescott, as he says, he'd be fine. If the Cowboys had a regular season game this Thursday, or if they had Tampa Bay and Tom Brady coming up this weekend, he'd play.
All right, that's his arm. Tell us about his. I like that you say that it really just didn't warm up well. I needed to let that sink in for a little bit. Okay, so as I mentioned, that's his arm, that's his shoulder. You say, look, he's probably going to be fine long run. It is okay, Cowboys fans. Take a deep breath there. Tell us about his leg. How is that looking?
His leg looks phenomenal. It's 100% and arguably better. Keep in mind that Dak Prescott had voluntary surgery late last year because he wanted to go back in and strengthen the ligaments and tendons in that ankle that was fractured in October. So arguably, as we have this conversation, that ankle that was fractured in October is stronger than it was pre-injury, which probably makes it stronger than the ankle that he never broke in the first place. So when it comes to his legs, his ankles, his lower body, Dak Prescott is right where the Cowboys want him to be, if not in a better space. He's rolling out, in training camp practices. And as you can see, even though they're not allowing him to throw, he's still getting those footwork drills in, which goes to show that his ankle is 100%, if not better. So great news on that front for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
All right, so the ankle's looking great. You said it's stronger than ever. Let's say the shoulder strain, they're being very, very careful with him. Give us your expectation for Dak heading into the season.
I expect Dak locked and loaded for week 1 against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And once that shoulder is completely rested and healed, you go back to what I was saying about the ankle being 100% or stronger. I believe Dak Prescott is going to hit the ground running, and I think he's going to get back to prime form. Keep in mind, this is a guy that was only 2 yards shy of breaking Tony Romo's single-season passing record for the Cowboys a couple seasons ago in 2019, and he did that with a sprained AC joint. So it goes to show that he can play through even a major injury to his shoulder. So a minor one like a strained lat, he'll be okay there. As far as getting back to his production and what he can do on the field, I think that's a no-brainer when you look at another step being made forward for CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper obviously still present, still one of the best receivers in the league. Michael Gallup going into a contract year, the return of Blake Jarwin, also the emergence of Dalton Schultz as a viable target. And then look in the backfield, Ezekiel Elliott is in the best shape of his life, arguably. You look at Tony Pollard being another weapon, the return of Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Zach Martin, and now they're figuring out things on that interior as far as the center position goes. Tyler Biadasz versus Connor Williams, Connor McGovern getting snaps at left guard. If the Cowboys can get that offensive line interior set, Dak Prescott has more than enough weapons to not only come back and get back to the form that he was in, but make a run for both NFL Comeback Player of the Year and NFL MVP.
Patrik, Cowboys fans came into this a little nervous, and they're leaving this segment feeling very good about their team, thanks to you and all of those updates. Patrik Walker, thank you so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, giving us that update on Dak Prescott, his shoulder strain. They're going to take a little bit longer for him to come back to make sure he is ready for week 1 against the Bucs. As you take a look at the Cowboys schedule there, of course, they went 6-10 last season. They are the favorite with the return of Dak Prescott to win the NFC East.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.